Yes, everybody. Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. It's we're in injury time now. It's obviously, as you know, it's Brentford 1, West Ham 1. A very scrappy game. I think it's very scrappy, both sides. We've been second half a lot better than the first half. I think it's fair to say. However, I don't think either side really is coming out this game with much excitement, with much with their head held high, if that makes sense. I mean, it's a free kick to Brentford. They've still got 2 minutes left of the 5 minutes injury time. Stats wise, it's about 57-43. We'll bring the stats at the end so you can have a look at them. People like them. Balls in the box by Brentford. It's been kicked from one end to the other. It's fallen down to someone's feet. Oh, the ref waves another penalty chance away. A couple of late potential penalty. The player's still down. Whoever the player was, I can't see, to be honest. They haven't turned around. But there's a player down. Is that Laney, who his name is? He just seems to have fallen over himself. He just seems to have fallen over himself. Very strange. Very strange. I'm sure they'll... Let's have a look at this. He's literally just kicked into Wan-Bissaka, who hasn't changed his stride or anything. He's just run past and he's just literally been kicked. He's literally kicked the back of Wan-Bissaka's calf. Wan-Bissaka's second half played as a left back. Obviously, Emerson went off. Kudus went off, replaced by Soler and by Mavropanos. Mavropanos, actually, to be fair, it's almost like they've gone for a Dan Burn type approach and putting a big lad on the fullback, because they've been doing, clearly the idea was to do crossfield balls, because he was going to out jump Keane Lewis Potter pretty much every opportunity. I mean, beginning of the day, I said I would take the point. I think we could have probably nicked it, to be honest, particularly when you look at the stats. I think we've had obviously Brentford have had more possession, but we've had a lot of shots, but not a lot on target. A lot of wayward shots, a lot of block shots, but not really on target. Obviously, Thomas Souček, as always, manages to get a goal, which is always his prerogative, and that's probably one of the reasons why he sort of maintains a place relatively high up in the starting lineup. Still got a couple of minutes left. Souček getting involved there, trying to disrupt the play. Keane Lewis Potter has got the ball on the left-hand side, plays it back. He crosses it in again, cleared by Souček again. No, it's Rodriguez. My apologies. Rodriguez is a lot of sloppy passing. Wan-Bissaka, I think he's had a really good game on that left-hand side. Whether he's playing he's sort of left wing back, but we didn't have a right wing back. I don't know. It's very strange. I think Wan-Bissaka is one of these players who could play well everywhere. Great ball across. Just Danny was a little bit. Was that Somerville? Actually, Somerville playing more of a second striker, really, almost playing a front four now. I think Lopetegui would be happy with a point here, particularly having conceded after 37 seconds. As what we did. Again, it's it's a long throw by West Ham. It's gone to the box. Someone's taken a shot, pop shot by Somerville, wasn't it? I think. And that's it. The final whistle, 1-1. 1-1. What do we think? What do you think about the result? I think it was probably a fair result. I think, to be honest, when you look at, let's just switch this off because this is going to annoy him. Have Arsenal won the last minute? Arsenal won. Looks like Arsenal beating Leicester, the last kick of the game as well. We had 18 shots, but only 2 shots on target. I think it was 3 shots on target. My apologies. 3 shots on target. Passes, they had 520 passes. Wow, 520. 398 for us. So I'm just putting the stats in so I can bring them up for you guys. You can see them. Fouls. Where are the old fouls? Bring those up. Where the fouls? Well, doesn't matter. Mr. Baker will be joining us in a minute. Fair result, maybe. Looking at both sides, it wasn't. Both sides had periods on top. Both sides, I think, had periods where they weren't very good. Still not too sure what formation we were playing towards with the removal of Kudus. I'm sure he's going to be asked about that question in terms of why. I think, don't want to speculate or anything, but why did we take off probably our best attacking player? The Mavropanos onto the left hand side, on the right hand side, kind of worked. I thought it kind of worked. Yeah, he's a bit dodgy, but I thought it kind of worked. And I could see some method in that madness in terms of how it came across. Like he was almost like him versus. They're doing a lot of crossfield balls to him. And he was obviously out jumping Lewis Potter, a bit like what Newcastle do with Big Dan Burn. So, yeah, I think I get it. We maintain our unbeaten away record. Is that what you call it now? Let me just bring up. I'm just going to download the stats for you so we can bring those up. Make sure I do the right button. Page 7. There we go. Let's go through some of these. What load of bollocks, says Michael. JLo says job for another day. He wasn't under any threat today, I think, unless we would have got turned over. If we got turned over, I think there would have been more pressure. And we didn't win. I think to be on the balance of play, I think a draw was probably the right result. I think. Let me bring the tail of the tape up. So we had 43% possession, 57% for Brentford. 18 shots we had, but only 3 on target. Where they had 8 shots, 3 on target. They had 520 odd passes. Still a 400 for us. Pretty even on the corners. We had 11 fouls. They had 2. We were offside twice, and they were offside once. So, yeah, I think someone's put in the chat it was meh, and I kind of agree. What a load of meh. Yeah, does Loppy still go to Wolves for his pick and mix? Another shower of shit. Too many times we looked slow. I thought several times we just seemed to just pick the wrong pass or pick the wrong way to pass. So there, he did some lovely touches. There's a couple of times he picked it, and it was one where Mavropanos had to almost go onto his knees to try and bring it up. I think, bit of meh. Tommy Suchek once again keeps us out of just. He's always manages somehow to get a goal.
I don't understand. I don't understand him as a footballer, to be honest. I love him to bits in a really odd way. It's like a love-hate relationship. But there is an element of meh, right? But going to Brentford is. Let's not be fucking stupid place here, right? It's not. Yeah. I'm not saying this to you, Russ. I'm saying it to everyone. I'm saying it to myself as well. Getting carried away. It's never an easy place to go. Sometimes a bogey team for West Ham, we had to do something in the second half that was different to the first half, and we changed it. And I think the changes are confusing. But if the changes mean it works and we get something from the game, then so be it. Because I'm telling you what, if we continued doing what we were doing in the first half for us, we would have been beaten. I don't doubt for a second we would have been beaten, or we wouldn't have at least scored a goal. I'm not trying to say that that's what's the be all and end all, but yeah, I mean, at the end there, Tony Gale made the comment, and it's true. West Ham's 3 most creative players were off the park. All 3 players were substituted, albeit Bowen was, right at the end. But I saw it was better in the second half. I am going to say this now: Todibo is absolutely in beside Kilman every week. Like,
yeah.
He was mustard today. He really was. He was the standout defender over Kilman today. Definitely. Like, I thought we defended well, considering that certain times and elements of play that Brentford had. I've been slagging off Mavropanos all season, but it worked. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it worked because I thought Mavropanos actually had a good game. It was his best game this season in a West Ham shirt, and he actually, I don't know, Russ. He seems quite suited to.
He's played right back quite a lot when he was.
But going forward, like I know we know that he does that. But he usually did that, didn't he? I know he played right back for Stuttgart, but when he was at Stuttgart, he was also known as the ball carrying central defender who would drive forward and then sometimes get caught out of position. But I mean, he drove forward a couple of times in that second half, and he knocked on the ball for. Did you hear me calling Somerville Insurreco?
No,
I have no idea why. I just kept calling him Insurreco. I couldn't get it out of my head.
Crazy Somerville.
I know. I just couldn't do it.
It's like I mean, it kind of made a bit of sense because which was bizarre when because again Tony Gale was saying, look, Lopetegui is telling Areola to punt it towards Mavropanos on the right hand side, and so that was clearly, in my idea, a plan, and it's almost like, as I said, like Newcastle, Dan Burn playing left back. He's a 6'4" left back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not being funny, it was Mavropanos against Keane Lewis Potter, who's about 1.5 foot smaller than him. Granted, It's not tactical genius, but we were utilising that crossfield ball for him to try and get knock-ons to Bowen. I didn't think Bowen had a very good game today. But
no, he didn't. But then again, it's funny because all of our attacking players who were all goal contributors last year in the last few games have really struggled and don't look like they're comfortable. I mean, Bowen, to be fair, was involved in the build-up play for our goal, but he, apart from that, he got the ball a few times and he lost possession a lot, as did Kudus as well today. But Carlos Soler came on, and I mean, I don't know what the man needs to do to start because he just his ball control. He was getting involved. He was getting control, and this is where the debate happens. People are saying Soler for Paqueta, but for me, it defeats the purpose. I don't want to see the double pivot again. I don't think, and I know you don't, and I know many fans don't, and it doesn't make sense to see the double pivot. But if you've got Carlos Soler, there's no point in going like for like and putting Carlos Soler in instead of Paqueta and still playing the double pivot. For me, it defeats the purpose. And I'm not trying to... Obviously, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Again, Russ, because we're sitting here doing this and we're not on like managing teams or anything like that. But the point I'm trying to make is like it doesn't make sense when you're watching the game because they really seem to suit playing together. And I would I'm just so intrigued to see what happens when that happens, when we start.
I think you've got more chance of seeing that next week than you do any away game. I just don't think Lopetegui's brave enough to play them both away from home. I think at home you can do. But the flip side is, the trouble is, Thomas Souček always ends up fucking scoring. And goals do, regardless of the rest of his game. The trouble is, that's why the likes of Moyes has always played him. That's why he's still getting lots of appearances for Lopetegui. And that's the trouble. And
I'm fine with that. But I genuinely think that can still do that from the bench, you know, and I think you know that as well, and everyone knows that. Like, I think he's a fucking brilliant option, but we can't. Do you know what? And next week we have to win, right? We don't have to win, but we have to win. If that makes any sense.
We need to win.
We need to win.
Yeah,
we need to win. And but I want to win. I don't see us winning. Honestly, with that starting lineup again, it has to be changes from the off. And we're not sitting here celebrating mediocre. I don't know who it was that wrote that comment. I'm certainly not celebrating mediocre. I'm trying to simply look at something that's brand new, and I'm trying to pick apart why I'm a bit confused and understand why I'm a little bit confused, and also understand, is there any positives to take from it? Is there any negatives to take from it? I think we all can sit here and understand what we think we would have changed with the game. But equally, though, I definitely took some positives from it. One positive is Todibo. Very good centre back.
Yeah.
Looks comfortable. Looks mustard. Mavropano's substitution gave me highlight, made me feel a little bit more comfortable with him on the park. It's absolutely highlighted. Don't know what's going on. Like, Antonio needs to be not our striker again. We know that.
If ever there's, you know, and you know, obviously, you know, thank you for your service, but he's not a starter. He isn't. No. He's got 60 minutes in him, and he's gassed, isn't he? And literally, like Gailey, Bish, and both of them on the commentary, they're like, he's done. He's. There was one point about 65 minutes in, he missed. It bounced off his leg or something, and he turned to the bench. And he's like, I'm done. But we it's no surprise. You know, we know that's. He's got 30. You know, you either play him for 60 minutes and you take him off, or you keep him on for 30 minutes as an impact sub, which is how he needs to be used. Unfortunately, at the moment is, you know, unless Fulkrug's play him, you have to completely change the way we play around him again, which isn't fun at all, which isn't very useful. But it was a strange one. Again, we were all a bit, as Anton was a bit, we all were perplexed with the site with the older halftime subs. I'm sure we'll find out more about the reasoning for Kudus's substitution. You know, I can't see it being tactical. Because there was.
It can't be, because I get he wasn't involved, but that's not down to necessarily his fault. It's just the way he's been played in the positional sense and stuff like that. He wasn't having a great game, but he's a sort of player. Honestly, it's the equivalent of bringing off your best player, like in any team. You're gonna, and if you've done it because you think of form, he's not the worst player in that team to be pulled off the park by far.
No, and if he'd been replaced by like Somerville, I could not understand it, but it would make a little bit of sense, because okay, you're going to put someone who's in here, and okay, he's happy with this person, but he didn't. And then actually, for a lot of then Paqueta ended up playing the left side again for some of the game, and it was like we didn't know what formation we were playing, and it was It reminded me of yesterday's game. I watched the Chelsea, the West Ham under-21s v Chelsea. Chelsea played pretty much the whole of the game with two centre halves. That was it. The rest were just all over the fucking place, and they had no shape at all, and were easily beatable. You know, down the wings and stuff. And it seemed a bit of a, again, you know, the last couple of games, it seems to be, you know, he's throwing it against the wall and seeing what sticks. And it seemed a bit of a.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm a bit. Yeah, I'm concerned that my concern 6 games into the season is when you watch Brentford play West Ham, when you watch Chelsea play West Ham, every team that have played West Ham so far, they all pass and move. There was elements in our game where I saw West Ham play one-touch football, and we looked decent, but they were few and far between. And it was like when we held onto the ball and we looked up, every time one of our players held the ball and looked up, the game became static. It was see, for example, if Wan-Bissaka got the ball going down the right-hand side, if he stopped and looked up, we were static. No one was showing for. I don't know any fucking more times I'm going to say it. No one was showing for the ball. all game. But then watch the minute Brentford get the ball, and Buemo, do you know what? I'm going to pull up on Buemo's heat map. He's fucking everywhere. He's everywhere. He's honestly, because, and remember, he's playing as their striker. He's got a goal. But wait till you see his heat map. I'm looking at it right now. Wait till you see his heat map. It's ridiculous. The player is absolutely fucking everywhere. And we don't have, for some reason, it's like they're told, just don't, like, I don't know what they're told. It's like one dimensional. That's what it kind of looks like. That's the frustrating thing.
Having it was quite funny yesterday. I had some chats with, I won't say the coaches, but there were several West Ham coaches there yesterday, and it was incredible what they were saying in terms of the way the first team play. In that under 21s, and someone made a point. I think Bazza made a point in here. You know, under 21s are well drilled. They know what they're doing. You've got Orford in the middle, controlling the game. And there was a point in the game when Ollie Scholes put the ball up, and Ollie was playing, like, wasn't playing left wing back. He was playing sort of centrally, which is an area he's been playing last couple. And he turned and ran. That's all he did. Turned the ball and ran with the ball. And one of the coaches tapped me in the show, went, that shows you when you've got someone in the midfield who's linking up play and just turns and brings the ball forward. Says, why can't the first team do that? Yeah. And it's so true. It does seem it seems like a pub, you know, not downgrading them, but it seems like a pub team where people turn up and go, right, I've got John here. He's my mate. He's a really good left winger. He's a good right winger. And they go, right, okay, fuck it. Go on you go, son. And that's what it seems like at times. It seems like the defence is kind of okay, but the rest is like, off you go. How can you do passages of play when you've got Antonio at the left wing, and then he's up front, and then he's right wing, and it's just like it. And we're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up the heat maps. I've not had a chance to make them all look fancy, but let's just put them up for the sake of doing it. This is Antonio's heat map for the game right now. And let's just look at the comparison of the difference between what Antonio's done and what Mbeumo's done. Antonio's touched the ball 29 times in this game, right? 29 times in the game. He played 75 minutes, 29 touches in the game. Not a huge amount of output, but look at Mbeumo, right? And look at the amount of time he blatantly is showing for the ball. 65 touches the players had. 65 touches because he's gone, I'm going to get involved in this game. And that's, for me, the big difference in West Ham in comparison to every team we're playing right now is the showing of the ball. Even when you look at like the comparison between their midfield to our midfield, Rodriguez to Damsgaard, 73 touches he has for Brentford to West Ham's Rodriguez to 59. Like for like player, but shows for the ball. And that's just the disheartening part for me. So.
I think money boots, mate, you know, it is the transition. You know, when you've got probably one of the strongest wingers in the Premier League in Kudus, when you've got Bowen who can be on fire, you know, and it's so slow, and then it's like it seemed, particularly in the first half. Second half, we seem to be taking more on the front foot. You know, there was times where Todibo could have done the easy back pass, but he didn't. He tried to split the midfield through with a pass through. And it seemed like the second half, both sides woke up a little bit. You know, it's like us scoring woke them up a little bit as well. And I just can't see the wood from the trees yet in terms of what this style of play is.
I'm the same, but slowly but surely things are starting to change. So, right, okay, the inclusion of Todibo I was happy with, but then nobody would have called the substitutions he made at halftime. Nobody, nor the tactical change. So I'm watching the game and I'm like, and then Russ, we spent as a chat and as a group literally 10 minutes trying to fucking work out what was getting played. And then I was looking at our template that we use for this stream, and I was like, oh my god. And then I was saying to the stream, Lopetegui has forced us not to use that template again because it's so fucking confusing. Because Lopetegui just goes, here, I'll just throw on 3 defenders out of the blue.
Yeah, I think
3 midfielders out of the blue.
Go back to the
list. We might go back to the names. So I was sitting there for ages, like, what is he doing? I couldn't understand it. So I don't know. Like, listen, you can't physically jump ship on him yet. You can if you want. You do what you want, but I'm not going to. I can't jump ship on someone who's brand new, who's trying to build something. Who's yes, okay. I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit lost, but losing to Ipswich would be a disaster. Everyone would fucking lose the plot, and yeah,
it would be a disaster. And then we've got 2 weeks to everyone be pissed off because then we've got the international break.
Yeah,
when traditionally we always don't play well coming back from the international break, and we've got Spurs away, then Man United at home. So I think what's going to be fascinating to see is the fallout in terms of the subs, because that will definitely be one question that's been asked by, the post-match interview. What happened with Kudus? I hope it was an injury and a knock rather than what Tony Gow was insinuating on the commentary. And I didn't really agree with him insinuating it on the commentary, because it's like, we don't know, but saying, oh, maybe he said something and the managers hauled him off. Don't know. We don't know. So, but we can only speculate on that. We are still undefeated away from home.
Yeah.
Brentford, notoriously a place which we don't perform well in. They've started at home reasonably well. But then again, the last couple of games, they've scored early goals. What do? You keep it tight for 5 minutes. Let them, rather than, off you go, Brian, off you go, son. Yeah. Is that the first point? No, didn't we beat? I think we beat him. Didn't we beat him like year before last? No. Yeah, but I'm thinking that might have been in the FA Cup. Ben Rama scored. Give us 2 secs. I'll check.
What I think is going to happen here, Russ, is I think these players will. I think the forwards are going to have to click at some point, but obviously they have to stay on the park to be able to click. So it's very clear everyone's on the same wavelength. Antonio doesn't start. Ings is not good enough. Don't mind Ings for.
It is our first point away. It is our first point in the Premier League away to.
There you go. And I listen, small steps, but I want West Ham to walk away with victory. I want that. I want West Ham to walk away with 3 points. And but it's very clear. It's very clear that Lopetegui still does not know what he is going to be doing moving forward. And I think what maybe scuppered, genuinely, what I think scuppered Lopetegui is, it's not the fact that we didn't sign John Duran. It's the fact we didn't sign someone else. If we didn't sign John Duran, because I think then he's, there's no way he would have been happy just with Füllkrug. You can't be. So I'm not saying he's not happy with Füllkrug. I'm saying that he spent his money, he's brought in the players, but he needed strength in that area. And the type of player that they were obviously scouting was a John Duran type of player. In actual fact, it's really coincidental that he is the sort of player that probably West Ham need. I don't know who said it in the comments earlier on. Just before I came on, I was listening and you were reading out someone's comments. And we're lacking that connection between the midfield and the striker. That gap's suddenly appeared again. And that was always a gap that we had when we weren't playing well and Antonio was leading the line. And the gap between the midfield and the striker became a big issue because there was no one helping. And then again, there was times where if you watch the game, you see Brentford press. When Brentford pressed West Ham in our own half, they actually went to the player and the ball. When West Ham pressed Brentford, we went to the shadow of the player and never pressed the player. It was odd. It was really odd.
The whole game was odd. It was just an odd game. It was like there was a period of about 25 minutes where it felt like a cup game. It was end to end, and everyone was like, and it was just like there was no shape. There's no, and I want to get behind a philosophy, and I don't see a philosophy at the moment. I want to get behind something which we can call Loppy ball or Lopetegui ball, and I just don't see it. I mean, we know what Moyes ball was. And it's just, I can't find an identity to us yet. You know what I mean? It's still very, give it to Kudus and let him run. Or, I just, and until that happens, it still feels like it's still pre-season. And we're 6 games into the Premier League now. And and then we play an Ipswich Town side who will be coming for a go. They'll come and have a go. They've got nothing to. They've got no, and away from home, they are going to give a go because that's the type of side that Kean McKinnon, is a good manager, and Ben Johnson will want to turn up, and Calvin Phillips will want to turn up, and it's. And any team that turn up at London Stadium, all you got to do is keep us quiet for 20 minutes and the fans will be on their backs. And then they'll get panicky. It's so easy. You're muted for some reason.
I just noticed that. I agree with this comment. It's just random. And it really is a bit random.
Well, it's random because we don't understand what he's trying to achieve. If he could come out and say what they're trying to do, rather than say I've made mistakes and say, I'd love someone to sit down with him, like someone like Rashane or someone like that, and find out what this philosophy is. Because I don't know if we know what we're building to, then I can get behind it. But I just don't get what we're building to. If we're playing, if he says we're going to play in like a high energy, high press, we ain't seen it. If we're going to play like a European style, maintain the ball, we haven't really seen that either. And it's a bit just random.
It's random.
It's a bit random. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point.
Yeah, I don't see a method. Absolutely. We're obviously in the West Ham Network chat, and Seth he's hilarious when he goes off and he's just been at the game. And he's like, bro, this guy's winging it. Seth, I'm reading your text messages out live. Bro, this guy's winging it. I'm sorry, I can't see what he's trying to do. He does weird lineups and tries to compensate, making subs which don't add up. And it's true. It is true. Again, I think if I'm sticking by my guns here and I'm going to say we need to see something by... I'm not saying we need to see something by game 10, Russ. I want it by next week, but we need to see something by game 10. Holy shit, we need to see something by game 10. Just method it behind the madness, some decision. I don't know. Just something with a bit of vision. But I mean, listen, we've played 6 games with Kudus out on the left and it's not working. And you're talking about a player that's valued, in theory, 6 games ago at over £100 million. So change it.
So much so he's been taken off at half time. Whether that's been, we believe that's tactical. I can't see it. I can't see it being tactical. And that's the thing, and that's the thing that's worrying. Hopefully, it is tactical rather than anything else, because and people make it out. Paqueta looked upset when he went off. Good. I don't want players smiling. I want players pissed off that they're taken off, because it shows they're fighting for the game and they want to play. And one thing that I think we can't say against Lopetegui over Moyes is he makes subs. He makes subs. He tries, but he makes subs. He doesn't make like for like subs. Does he really? I mean, look at the subs he made today.
Well,
like for like.
No. I think the confusing thing about his subs is that sometimes he does make he makes like for like. When Lopetegui needs to change a game, he makes a like for like sub, which doesn't make sense. And when I don't know, he makes random ones. It's just all very random.
He don't seem to be able to. We're like, it was always Moyes would never sub this person or this person. He subbed Bowen, he subbed Kudus, he subbed Paqueta, he subbed Alvarez. He don't give a shit who he subs, which I applaud him for that, because no player, it's his way or the highway. Forest away is our 10th game, Anton. There we go. I mean, the next games we got obviously Ipswich next week, then we got the Gap, and then we've got Spurs and Man United. Man United at home, Spurs away. So 2 home games, 1 away. That way being Spurs. And we all know what happens with Spurs. It can just go out the window. We don't know what's happening. Yeah. Oh dear, I'm just a bit dazed by it.
Yeah. Romulus said confused by the subs, but maybe he's trying to change the system. Well, he changed the system, but I mean, come Saturday next week, it's going to be another system. I don't really know what this fucking system is. I was extremely confused when I was writing it down. I was like, oh my god, what? Who's coming on? What? Where? Why? Who? What? It's all of those ones. Lobby should not be in charge of the sub department. Subs were bizarre from Happy, but we played better second half. We did. Johnny says, "Let me be fair. If that was if that was a spat in the changing room, he'll be cut out. That was awful."
I think you bet Caduce.
All right. Can't Lopetegui sub himself then?
Well,
there's a good chance Lopetegui, good chance Kudus hates Lopetegui. I tell you what I will say is there was a point in the game where Kudus got the ball. I said it in the matchday live, and he drove at the defender. I think they cleared the ball away, and then Kudus just looked really frustrated. He did look frustrated.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if he got in at half time and they had a row.
Yeah.
Because easily, you've gone in 1-0 down. He's frustrated. He's had the last 2 or 3 games where it looks like he's been very frustrated. He hasn't, we're not playing to his strengths, and maybe it just came out. It happens, isn't it? It's
Damien, I think we're about to leave, so we would have, but we can do that in one of the shows in the next couple of days because we're going to be doing obviously the ratings and stuff like that. So maybe Russ might give a club call.
On a Friday, maybe.
Subs may have been strange, but they helped us get a point. Yeah, they did. But yeah.
I mean, as I said, the Mavropanos, and again, it's weird. It's almost like, and as I said, it was like, I remember under Moyes would change things until he got something which worked, and he'd keep with it. Now, I can't, for the life of me, well, we never know. Maybe it's going to be, I mean, Emerson hasn't played great recently. I think Wan-Bissaka, he's really, he can play left back or right back. And then with
Russ, to be fair to every single one of the defenders in our team, we've played Dinos, Kilman, Emerson, Sufal, Creswell, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, and we have played Dinos in different positions. We've played Wan-Bissaka in different positions.
Yeah.
We've played now, in theory, Kilman and Todibo in different positions. So the back four, and on paper is what we wanted today. And I just, for me, I'm a bit like, just stick with that back four. Even the second half, just stick with that back four. Like, I get, okay, changing it to the 3, that's fine. But next week, I want us to go back to that back four and just work out what's happening in the midfield. Because I think essentially that back four will be all right. I really do. It seems to be that we're targeting an area where we're actually maybe okay. Like, thought we defended reasonably okay, all the threats apart from the goal that Brentford had. But the biggest thing for me is the double pivot in midfield. That's the only area we need to work on. It's like, what the fuck are they doing there? Like,
do you agree that Wan-Bissaka was much more effective than Emerson on the left back position or the left forward?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So for me, he's not. So Emerson is not the same player that we were playing last year. So maybe this is a bit of a wake-up call to Emmy to actually, you've got a back player there who could do your job. He can do your job. And to be honest, he hasn't had that for about 2 years, really, having a player who could do his job. And maybe that might just, we see a better version of Emerson back. I don't know. It's just, I actually thought, I thought Wan-Bissaka offered a lot more going forward on that left-hand side than Emerson did in the game. But I agree. It's like something needs to be. It's all right doing all this pissing about with stuff, but it needs a line in the sand, and this is what we're doing going forward. And it's whether it's a strategy, whether it's a formation, whatever. This is the way we're playing. I don't mind changing it from game to game, as and when, like 1 or 2 players, but you can't get any form of patterns of play, any consistency if you're chopping and changing all the fucking time. No. And it is like, as I said, that way it is a bit like a pub team on a Saturday night, on a Sunday morning. Whoever turns up. That's what it seems like at the moment.
Absolutely. Completely agree.
Oh, well, we didn't
completely agree. We didn't. We've got a point, and away to Brentford, like you said, the first point in the Premier League away to them. Is that right?
First result. Yeah. First result in the Premier League. Against Brentford. And, and again, look at the 2 other results we've had, You've turned over heavy defeats against Palace last year and against Fulham into a win and a draw. So, small mercies, maybe. And maybe Mavropanos is going to be our super right back. Who knows? Newcastle do it with Dan Burn. Maybe we're doing it with Mavropanos.
Who would have thought it?
Who would have thunk it?
Well, I mean, are you going to stay on, Russ? Because I'm going to head.
No, I've got to go and keep an eye on Flo.
Yeah,
she doesn't burn the house down.
If you are all new around here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, please, and thank you for joining us. Listen, it is what it is. We got some form of result. We've got to take that. We've got to move on to Ipswich, and we've got to go and try and get a convincing result. We need to go and get a convincing result to give us some bit of hope or a bit of guidance moving forward. But yeah, we'll be back with maybe a couple of more shows over the next couple of days. If you haven't already, check out the new mugs that we've got from the West Ham Network. Russ is, of course, holding it. Russ, I'm assuming you've explained the design model on the basis of a very famous band who are reuniting and coming back. So
Coldplay.
Get yourselves in there. Russ will put the link in either the chat or in the description. You can get yourselves involved on that. We are doing limited numbers of these. So once they're gone, they're gone. Only a few left. So get yourselves across there and make a purchase of that as well. And then, like I said, we'll be back bringing you some more things. 5 things we learned from the game.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. Match reaction.
And then next week we've got the members only show. We've got the podcast on Monday for members. And Wednesday night, we should have Sebastian Schemmel doing a live show for the members with Anton probably or Holly or both. And then possibly Thursday night, we'll have another ex-Hammer interview for the main channel coming on for a bit of a chat. And then the week after next, we've got a chef's kiss of an interview coming up. Chef's kiss. I haven't seen this person on anything else. I haven't done a proper search, but I haven't seen him anywhere else.
And that's why you join the West Ham Network. That's why you join the West Ham Network. Right. Exactly. Much love, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. Thank you, Russ. Take it easy.
Come on, Warriors. Bye.